Hi, Billboard changed their rules, and I'm not mad about it, okay? I just gotta go ahead and speed run this because short attention spans over here too for some reason. So, like the video, let's go. I'm gonna try to be brief for once. Mind you, because I am such a raging hypocrite, I even have like 10 versions of the same AT's album on this table. Just so you know, I am not above the shenanigans, but if you watched my first YouTube video, which was posted a month ago, where I was talking about the downfall of K-pop and how the album variants are getting out of control, then you're gonna know I was happy when I saw that. Listen, you wanna know actually what a canon event for me? I'm not saying that. Listen, I'm gonna put a video in here that's got a little bit of Taylor slander. I have no Taylor hate in my body because I just don't pay attention to her. I'm just not her demographic. But the one time I did pay attention was I saw Brat Summer and I saw the success of Charlie XCX, and I was like watching her climb the charts and she was doing so good. And then that lady, that beacon of capitalism, dropped another version and usurped her from, and I was like, oh, that is so petty. Oh my God. I'll take my brain credit. I was like, oh, it's literally not that deep. It's not that deep.
It's really starting to get spooky out here because there's no way. So Taylor Swift literally just released digital albums with bonus tracks and first draft phone memos for the UK fans. But listen to this. Brat by Charlie XCX was literally going to debut at #1. It was on track to get that #1. In the fucking UK. Where did Taylor drop these digital fucking albums at? The UK. Why? To block Charlie XCX from getting that #1. And she's did this with fucking Billie Eilish. Now she's doing it with Charlie. Just unfair. I hate this. I feel so bad for Charlie XCX. I feel so bad for fucking Billie Eilish. I feel like they both deserve #1s. And they're not getting it because of these digital albums being dropped. And it's just like, girl, Taylor, you can chill out. It's not that serious. I don't think you need #1 for that fucking long. Like, she's literally broke mad records already. You don't need to break any more.
Today, Billboard changed their rules for how they count digital variants of albums on the charts, and it will have a huge impact moving forward. So the first big change is that only 4 digital exclusive versions are allowed for the life of an album, and that includes deluxe versions. So what is a digital exclusive version? That would be like when Taylor released different digital versions of the Tortured Poets Department with a single bonus track. These were the Live from Paris editions. There were 3 digital variants here, and they were sold for $5.99. That's important considering one of the other new rules. So for the Tortured Poets Department, considering the first standard release of the digital album, when the album was first released, these 3 variants, that would be the total number of variants that are allowed to be considered for the chart. The second is that new digital exclusive versions cannot be put up for sale during the first week of an album. So for the first week of an album, the only sales they would count are all the pre-sales and then all of the sales during the first week of the first version of the album. You can't have a second version of the album within the first weeks for that to count on the charts. The third change is that they increase the minimum price for these digital albums to be counted on the charts. It's now $7.99. They also announced some other changes that seem to be more cracking down on the fraud side of things, like people using VPNs to buy digital versions of the album from a different country to kind of affect another country's charts. And they've changed some of the rules on how fraud is reported and kind of how they investigate that. So, will these changes have an impact? Absolutely. Many artists have used these techniques to game the charts to try to move up. This middle one, if an artist is close to coming in at #1 for their first week of an album, many artists have released a second version of the album even within the first week to kind of secure that #1 spot. That is no longer allowed. For the first and third change, this is really cracking down on something that Taylor Swift has done a lot. She's just the first person that comes to mind for this, of releasing digital versions of the album that have just like one thing different And it's so many different versions. She did UK exclusive, Paris exclusive, with the kind of memo first draft versions of different songs, all for the Tortured Poets department. It was a lot more than 4 versions. In the future, she can only do this basically 3 times. I think this will have a positive impact for many fans because I think the impact will be that artists put more content in each of the exclusive versions. So instead of having the different, for example, the draft memo versions of the songs, instead of having that be 3 different digital albums that you have to buy, it would all be in one of the variants. So you would get more content. I think the same thing with upping the price. Artists will have to sell their digital versions for at least $7.99 if they want them to count on the charts. That might seem bad, but I think that will result in artists putting more content into each of the digital versions, so you actually get more kind of bang for your buck. Overall, I think these changes are fair. I think the whole game of releasing, especially the digital album variants, I mean, why on earth would you buy a digital album in the age of streaming? It did seem to be just to kind of boost your numbers. All the different versions that have one single bonus track, I think in a deluxe or a different version of an album should have at least 3 or 4 bonus kind of tracks, something content to justify the purchase. Do you think this was targeting particular artists, or do you think this was just a change that was needed? And how do you think this is going to affect the charts moving forward?
It's like how much people like release those digital versions or like keep forcing the issue. And I'm like, why do I need to run out and buy another version of the album and the only thing that's different is one song? Now, I am all for collecting. Look around, buddy. I love collecting. I love collectors. This is no shade, but also we are in a recession, and also the tariffs are going to eat us alive as collectors. So just think about it. Just think about it. Listen, 2025, no, buy with me. Let's go, bro. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. I even love the minimum prices that they're putting down on things because it's just getting ridiculous. It's just getting ridiculous. Like, I know that there hasn't been so many changes over the years to how Billboard counts album sales, like how they stopped with the whole like t-shirt bundle thing because like DJ Khaled's and the Nicki Minaj's and all that, and the Travis Scott's kind of abusing that. And I already know, before you say it, well, people are going to run and find another way to game the system, and they're just going to find other ways to manipulate it. They're also putting a minimum price on things, and I feel like that $15.99 for vinyls, I'm just going off the dome, bro. I just read it one time. That $15.99 for vinyls is so important. If you, for some reason like me, I know, I think I was one of 2 people paying attention to French Montana scamming his fans. Girl, fans, he was selling a vinyl for like $5.99, and he was just like rushing them out the door. He was selling all of these albums and stuff, and in order for that sale to count towards your first week, it needs to ship within the first week, and he wasn't really shipping them. They weren't really reaching people's addresses. I know you don't know about this because who pays attention to French Montana? I just love music news that much, so unfortunately I remembered that, and I was like, first of all, $5.99 vinyl sound like a scam anyway. Because I'm over here as a K-pop stan, I'm like, isn't like an average vinyl like $17.25? You know, I'm like, anyways, I was like, $5.99 for a vinyl. I'm not surprised it never showed up. I don't know if this was ever real. He was just trying to scam y'all. Like, it just gave scam. It gave Elon. Like, is it just promises with no results? Like, what are you, like, what?
French Montana is being accused of fraud after his new album debuted suspiciously high at 55,000 album sales. You may have heard how he released 5 versions of his recent album Mac and Cheese, which was an effort to boost album sales. However, this actually only contributed to 11,000 of the 55,000 album sales. The other 45,000 is where the apparent fraud takes place. Back in January, French Montana sold vinyls of his album for only $5. In order to count towards album sales, those vinyls needed to be shipped on release date. However, customers are complaining that their vinyls say delivered, but are being sent to random addresses. And the packages themselves aren't even big enough to hold a vinyl.
Girl. So yes, he was exposed for that. And also he made every single song a single, and also counted all of the different remixes as singles. Anything he could to stack pack and to boost numbers. And that's what I'm tired of. The stat packing, the number inflating, the games, the sympathy and payola, the pay to play, the Drakes crying about people botting or people utilizing the system while they utilize the exact same manipulative techniques. Okay, sister.
Billboard is finally putting an end to the digital variants that artists released just to boost sales that got ridiculous last year. Let's get into it. So if you follow me, you know that one of my biggest bugbears is that artists release these digital variants with like one bonus track, and they release several of them so that fans have to buy 3 or 4 versions in order to get all the different bonus tracks. And as a result, it boosts that album's sales and sends it further up the charts. We've seen it a lot with artists like Travis Scott and also Taylor Swift, but it's not only them, it's all artists, really. Well, now Billboard has said none of that anymore within reason. So basically now you are only allowed to release 4 digital exclusive versions. And this is for the lifespan of an album, and it also includes deluxe editions. I would guess that you are still able to do it. It just won't count to the charts, which means that way less artists will release more than 4. For the Tortured Poets department, for example, I'll use it as an example because I do have the figures for it. There were 18 digital variants of this. On top of that, you will no longer be able to put these versions on sale in the middle of the first tracking week. They will have to be either a pre-order or release later. A lot of artists do it in the middle because there's either a tight chart race or they see that they're lagging behind or something like that. And also the minimum price to be counted has now been raised to $7.99. A lot of these artists have been doing these for really cheap so that it's easy to shoot up the charts, but no longer. I am very happy about this. It's good news for the fans, and it hopefully means that they will be able to get this exclusive material without spending as much money. Let me know what you think of these chart changes.
What I will say about K-pop albums and having so many versions and variants, at least, hear me out. There was like some sort of like creativity and like packaging and graphic design. There was almost something to somewhat justify. But even now, as the price point keeps rising, it's getting harder and harder to justify that. And I'm happy that they're setting more like price ranges. But still, even with the tariffs and the different things going on, I still feel like collecting is going to be much, much more difficult, especially if you're getting things that are coming from overseas. Listen, hear me out. This is your chance as a fan, as a fandom, to decenter numbers, statistics, and metrics.
You need to leave!
Oh, so y'all booing me now? Are you serious? I'm just saying. I feel like there's a lot of undue pressure that a lot of fandoms uphold and put on each other. I understand that a lot of people use these numbers to throw into other fandoms' faces, right? Or like they are supporting this person to spite someone else, or they're throwing in your face like first week or like pre-sale numbers, but the pre-sale was open for like 4 months and y'all just bought it just because there was 1,000,001 variants, right? Like it's gonna cut down on that, right? So we can just actually get quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, especially these Western artists. I need a quality over quantity as far as these, like, because they'll be giving you 12 vinyls with the exact same photo on the front. Stop playing with me. Like, chop. And mind you, shout out to my fave, shout out to my Jaehyun for 1 vinyl, 3 versions. You did that, babe. You was already meeting the Billboard's record. That's my king. That is my king. Y'all don't get it. Like, I was just like, oh my God. I looked at his templates. I only needed 9 cards. He didn't put 1 photo card in the vinyl at all. He was like, hey, please, just listen to the music. Just focus on the music. Just listen to the music. Just focus on the music. I'm not going to have you out here chasing around 5511 fucking cards. Like, oh my God. Or to continue to buy the exact same album just to get like 1 minor, little minute scrumpet of a sample of a verse of a rhyme scheme that's different. Like, girl, stop playing with me. Centering the statistics and hyperfixating on the statistics can give people like Doechii more shine. Like, so many people just counted her out because her first week sales were not at the tippity top. And it's like the quality and the earnestness and the passion behind music is completely irrelevant. It's like, oh, so what's the number look like the first day? All right, then slam it on tape. They don't even want to give it a chance. They're like, what is wrong with you? At this point, why is there such a huge investment in the numbers for you as a general consumer? If you like the music, you like it, it's almost like you need permission from other people in order to like the music. Like, well, if it's not popular, then I can't enjoy it. Like, girl, get your own damn personality. What the fuck is wrong with you? Listen, I don't want to be yet another person, you know, making fun of people for the high brain that they share once they join certain fandoms and stuff like that. Anybody could get wrapped up in doing the most in any sector. But I do think that it puts a lot of undue pressure also on the artist. Like, you think that, like, in your mind, and listen, I love getting up the day that my fave's album drops and, like, you know, heading to Barnes and Nobles or whatever and picking up an album. Obviously. However, we're so obsessed with trying to boost numbers, especially to spite another artist, which is like, girl, what do you even care or think about other artists whenever it comes to supporting your favorite artist? It's just ridiculous, but I see it happening. Whenever the fandom's main focus and obsession is not the music and it's about the numbers and the charts and and it has to, they sold this much last time and they just have to double it this time and they have to do this and it just has to be this much, and they're just watching the countdown on it and they're logging into VPNs and buying a bunch of albums all over the country and they're stat packing and they're doing the most, and like, it puts a lot of undue pressure also on the artist, because if they don't hit that number again, am I a failure now? Do they not love me now? Do they not care about me now? I feel like you can show your love and support to an artist in other ways. I just realize now how much more important it is to show up and show out for them in a concert setting. Can I go off on an unnecessary tangent? I'm trying to wrap it up. I'm trying to wrap it up. But I saw that ATEEZ was going on another tour and that they were partnering with AGI Presents. So does that mean that they're not going to use Ticketmaster and make us suffer through the Ticketmaster experience? Are the prices going to be a set price because they're possibly going to be doing slightly smaller venues? Like, is this going to be a very intimate tour because this is like our hurrah before we really start thinking about enlistment? Like, what's going on here? Oh, listen. Are y'all not going to be using Ticketmaster? Because that will be music. Obviously music to my ears, but love in my heart. Okay, we're circling back. So in conclusion, please like and follow, by the way. Don't you think that it would be really nice? Just think about it. Don't you think these rules in the long term can be good? That it will stop a lot of fraudulence, a lot of sympathy payola and chart manipulation and tomfoolery. Yes, but also limit how many variants and how much there is to collect and make your life a little bit easier as a collector if you are still collecting, and make things a little bit more fair for artists who do not have this gigantic machine behind them. Listen, I don't think that there's any one way where they can just completely eliminate the games and the fugazi. I know that it used to be artists going up and buying, you know, thousands of their CDs and having them in storage rooms. Like, I know that there's always going to be other ways. It's just like, I feel like we're losing the plot here. I feel like people are going to move away from a lot of physical media and collecting in some ways because we are in a recession, baby. It's looking ugly. Elon don't want none of y'all to have no job. He wants all y'all to suffer, especially if you're darker than the paperback. It's a chop. So save your money. You do not need all 7 versions of that CD. Like, hang it up. We can dial back on making it seem like numbers are a reflection completely of talent, of success, of the quality of music, because it's not necessarily. Really be that you're an artist that is just at a smaller company and you just have not as many advantages or not as many opportunities, or don't have some sort of corporate machine you know, funneling all this money for you to be able to get these sales and to recruit these bots. Last side tangent. But Wonho, I saw that he was on live crying, and he was upset that he's not doing well in his career and not having very many opportunities, and he wants to work, he wants to sing, he just doesn't know what he's doing. Poor management. I feel so sorry for him. I'm so frustrated on his behalf. I hope that people go to his show. I have seen him live. I saw him at Jingle Ball. He was absolutely amazing, very, very talented. He's had so many setbacks in his career, and it's so infuriating considering how talented he is. So do you see what I'm saying? There could be somebody incredibly talented, but like due to management or like blackballing, however you want to put it, just being disenfranchised in some different ways, you may be very, very set back, even though you literally have potential. You just haven't been put in front of people the way that you should be, or haven't been presented the opportunities that you should have. And it's not always a situation where the cream is rising to the top. It's just like a visibility issue. Why they have him going to a casino in Oklahoma, I do not know. But please, if you can, go out and support him. Hopefully he will be booked for more shows. He'll have more opportunities. And I did see like he had a fan meet, he did the Jingle Ball and things like that. If he needs to focus on promoting over here, come over here. Wait, all right. So what was I talking about? But yeah, the digital albums were like $2.99, $3.99. Now, mind you, you already have the music on your phone. I'm a YouTube music person because I'm already on YouTube anyway. But yeah, I never really vibed with Spotify I definitely didn't vibe with Spotify because they're just going to force feed us Drake. And definitely never liked Apple Music. Oh my God. Please. I try to leave with some questions at the end. Are you still bulk buying albums? No judgment. Are you still crashing out bulk buying hundreds of albums? Are you upset with the changes to Billboard's rules? Do you want Taylor Swift to release another digital album version so your favorite artist can't chart? Can you think of any other changes Billboard should make? Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.